There's a couple things I want to talk about that I'm actually kind of upset with, and I don't know what to say. I'm not really this big old boxing aficionado. I am a boxing fan. That being said, um, I've always been known to say what's on my mind and be as truthful as possible. And I'm just going to say this. I am not sure that I'm going to share a link to StreamYard if I want to have a conversation or not about it. It depends on who comes in the room and wants to talk, because I don't want to get up here and argue with people. I'm not, this is not going to be a debate. This is going to be my opinion and my opinion only. Um, if someone like Hodo or OG Boogie or Brian Hawkins or Unrivaled Boxing, then them with them I'll talk with. But other than that, I don't feel like discussing it if there's going to be anything that's going to be argumentative. Here's my here's what I have to say. Give me a second. Let me mute my mic because I got to clear my throat. So anyway, here's the deal. There's a couple of things that pissed me off immediately after the boxing match. The number one thing is Teofimo Lopez going up and taking a picture next to Canelo and showing his belts. I'm not going to show the picture because I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to give him that. Listen, I respect Teofimo Lopez for what he did, how quick he did it. Him becoming the undisputed quote unquote. But listen, there's a belt out there. There's a belt out there, and for his father to go up there and start saying, "Well, my son did it first." No, your son did not. Your son did not do it first. Canelo did it, not your son. Your son did not inspire anybody to do it. So, how do they say it? Stop capping. God, I feel like a kid. I feel like I'm a kid trying to say that shit. It doesn't sound right. But stop with the bullshit. You're trying to ride off the coattails of somebody else. Canelo Alvarez's day, leave him alone. Why are you going up there showing your belt? You didn't fight that night. The hell is wrong with you? Why are you trying to capitalize on somebody else's deeds for the day? I can't stand that shit. That's that to no end pissed me off. All right. There's another belt. I don't care about the fact that Devin Haney was emailed the belt. I've said that. Devin Haney didn't fight anybody of substance or of any. Devin Haney didn't win the belt off of a champion. The fault of whoever's fault it is that there's this confusion about the belt, the WBA belt, WBC belt, I think. Whatever, I don't give a fuck. That's not Canelo's fault. So, but the fact is, there's still confusion there. So, the belt is still out there, and it's Devin Haney's. Whether we like it or not, it's still his belt. So there has to be a fight over that belt. So Teofimo Sr., I really didn't like how he did that and how he said that, my son did it first. No, your son didn't fucking do it first. Get the fuck out of here with that noise. All right. I respect you as a trainer. You shouldn't be a manager. I'm going to say that straight off the bat. Family, business, when it comes to money, family shouldn't be involved with business, period. End of subject. Yeah, there are those rare points where it does work out, but for the most part, nah, that's a fucking taboo thing to do. Never involve family in your business. He's a good trainer. He helped his son, and that's all fine and dandy, but stay out of his money. But that's another video entirely. But don't go up there. Why are you traveling with belts anyway? What the fuck is that all about? Why are you traveling with belts? You just randomly traveling to different boxing matches with belts? Really? Really? The fuck? Anyway, moving on. One thing, the biggest thing that bothers me now is people not giving these boxers. Oh, hey Mark, how you doing, brother? It's the truth, Mark. It bothers me. And I just had to get it off my chest because I hear all these people, just like, and then when for Teofimo Lopez Sr. to say that bullshit, on the day that Canelo did what he did, give this man his fucking just due. Give Caleb Plant their just due. What in the fuck is wrong with giving these boxers what they deserve? Caleb Plant fucking gave a good fight. Granted, in my opinion and on my scorecard, I gave Caleb Plant 2 solid rounds, but there were 2 other questionable rounds. And even if I gave that to Caleb Plant, it would still be 6-4. Which kind of coincides with what the scorecards say. So, I got no problem with that. But I gave him a solid 2 rounds. A solid 2 rounds. All right. But in my opinion, Caleb Plant gave an excellent. He did the best he can do. He was an undefeated fighter. Stop taking away from these boxers to make some agenda that you got out there. Fuck you and your agendas. Keep the game pure. Acknowledge what needs to be acknowledged. Caleb Plant was an undefeated champion. Period. And Canelo beat him. And it took him 11 rounds to do it. Give Caleb Plant his just due. He fought for 11 rounds against one of the pound for pound recent boxers, greatest boxers of this era. That's nothing to just shake your hand. You gotta fucking give the credit for that. Now that being said, you gotta give Canelo his due and his respect. I'm fucking tired of this of the conversation because every time it comes up, look, if somebody did something wrong, they did something illegal, and they did their crime, and they did their time. All right, I'm one of those type of people that I can forgive it if it only happened once. But I see boxing channels out there that all they do is like analyze every fucking picture. I saw a fucking video yesterday of someone saying they were convinced that Canelo was doing something illegal. The motherfucker was taking a pill and drinking green juice, and Canelo was there at a weigh-in. What was it, weigh-in or something like that? It was in public. Okay, really? He's gonna do something in public illegal? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? It's bothersome. I am not a Canelo Alvarez fanboy. I'm gonna acknowledge what he did. In the span of 11 months, he unified the titles. That hasn't happened in years, and he's the first Mexican fighter to do it. Period. Why can't you just show respect for that? Hey, Mark, if you want to come up here, brother, I'll throw the link up there because you're one of the few people that I said that I would let come up here and discuss this with me because it really does bother me. It really does bother me that people do this, you know. So there you go, my good sir. If you feel like coming up to here and chatting about this, but these type of things, I just got. I am going to let a lot off my chest today. So it's that simple. Um, this being said, give these boxers their just. Let's talk about Colin Smith. All right, the fight with Colin Smith. Why do people bitch about this fight? Why are people bitching about this fight? The man, all right, was undefeated. Why do people insist on saying Canelo Alvarez is fucking ducking fights? He's ducking, this one or ducking that one. He's not ducking anybody, you know? Go get a fucking life. Or stop riding the dick of your favorite fucking boxer. Because that's all that is. Be a fight fan. Don't be a fighter fan. But if you're gonna be a fighter fan, be fucking ready to get some fucking reaction. You know, you for every action, there's gonna be an equal and opposite reaction. Trust me when I tell you that. For fuck's sake. If you watch if you watch I was at another channel. I was listening to this shit. It was in another channel, and they were talking about how they had Caleb Plant up, beating Canelo Alvarez, and I laughed. But then who am I to judge that because that's their opinion? But then they started getting into Caleb Plant took a dive. That Colin Smith took a dive because these were bigger men with longer reach and extraordinary jabs and combinations, and they didn't use these tools against Canelo Alvarez. No, Canelo Alvarez didn't let them use the tools because Canelo Alvarez improves and changes slightly with every fight. I've seen that for the past 5 fights. I'm going to give the man his just due where he deserves it. Why can't other people? A lot of these channels are so fucking biased. They call themselves boxing fans, and they're not boxing fans. They're boxer fanatics. There's a fucking difference. Again, be a boxing fan. And on top of all that, hey, what's up, Mad Chat? How do you doing, brother? On top of that, it's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. What's so hard about giving these boxers their due? Well, thank you for listening, my good man. It's like, what's so difficult about giving these boxers their just due? Why is it that you got to find something wrong in every single thing they do? I thought we were done with this shit with the Fury Wilder fight. I thought we were done with it, but no fucking way. Now we got to find something always. I saw a guy examining every inch. This was borderline fucking creepy. I'm not gonna lie. Borderline creepy. Was looking at every muscular bulge on Canelo, looking for some line, some sort of marking to prove that he was roided up. That's fucking dude. That is creepy as fuck. Give the man his fucking win. And if he tests dirty afterwards, then fucking crucify him after. But until he tests dirty again, leave the man alone and give him his fucking win. Why do you guys got to do this? And make more? Is it for views? Honestly, is it for the views? Because if you're doing this shit for the views, in my opinion, it's sad. I've been on YouTube now for the better part, the majority of 20 years. Honestly, I've been on YouTube for exactly 17 years. I've been on here for a long time, and I'm a sports fan. I'm a football fan. I'm a baseball fan, and I'm a boxing fan. I left boxing for a long time. Because I didn't like the direction boxing was going in. But I came back because I like the direction boxing is going in now. Budo, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? I like the direction that boxing is going in now. Do you guys know that you have a possible dynasty coming up? Especially in the lighter weight classes. You guys got a bunch of boxers that are coming up that are going to be household names like Leonard and Duran and Hearns and Hagler. You have something like that coming up, and it's going to be exciting times. But what are you doing? You're fucking acting like children, nitpicking and becoming these fanatical fucking religious fucking followers of some of these undeserving boxers right now. Be a fight fan. Learn what that means to be. Appreciate the game for the game. And get off the dick. Now, if that's your thing, that's okay. If you like dick, you like dick. I don't give a fuck what you like. But, when it comes to being a fan of the sport, be a fan of the fucking sport. Bruce Goes, what's up? Now, I learn a lot hanging around with all these different boxing channels. I really do. I learn a lot. I get different opinions. I get different views. I get to learn how the boxing community sways one way or another. And it's all, I try to, I keep at arm's length while interacting with them. I keep at arm's length because I don't want to be accused of picking sides, because I won't pick a side, but I'm going to tell you the truth of what I feel. Like when Jamal fought Stevenson, when Jamal fought Shakir, I thought Jamal was going to win, and I was honest about it. But when Shakur won, I gave Shakur his just due. He beat Jamal. Shakur beat Jamal in the way that I thought Jamal was going to wallop Shakur. It was the opposite of what I thought. But I gave the man his due. What's so hard about that? What's so hard about doing that? I give Teofimo his due. The man accomplished something. In a limited amount of fights, he was able to beat Loma. That's no easy feat. That's no easy feat. I give him his due. You know, I can't say that I respect Devin Haney as a champion because he didn't win the belt, but the belt is his. I am not going to deny that that WBC belt is Devin Haney's, which means Teofimo Lopez is not undisputed. There's huge dispute there. Again, Devin Haney does not get my respect. He did not beat a boxer of substance for the belt. I'm acknowledging that. But you Teo fans, you got to acknowledge that belt is Devin Haney's and not Teofimo's. Especially you, Teofimo Sr. You coattailing, riding motherfucker. I thought it was absolutely disgusting what I saw when I saw Teofimo Lopez Jr. up standing next to Canelo Alvarez with his belts, and then for his dad to have the balls to say, "Well, my son did it first." Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with that. Red Glove Militant, what's up, brother? How you doing? Now, mind you, guys, these are just my thoughts. All right, these are my personal thoughts. If you don't agree with them, that's fine. You don't have to agree with my thoughts. But this is how I feel as a fight fan. You know, and mind you, I'm still learning a lot about the game, and I have young people. Yeah, he does got to get the WBC belt. He sure the fuck does. It's not his. I am admitting that Devin Haney did not earn that belt. In my opinion, he didn't earn that belt, but it's his. Nonetheless, it's his. So what does that mean? That means T.O. needs to fight Devin Haney. Is it going to happen? Probably not anytime soon because all they want to do is talk shit. I got more fucking followers than you. Oh, yeah? Well, what the fuck does followers got to do with anything? God bless you too, Unrivaled Talk, Boxing Talk. God bless you, brother. I learned a lot from you, Mark. I learned a great deal from you. You are a reservoir of knowledge, of boxing knowledge that is unrivaled. Perfect name. People talk about these fighters nowadays and all the cheating going on. I know that Canelo Alvarez got busted for I know he got busted but I also know that he did his time. People won't let that fucking slide. And you know what? I understand that it's always going to be in the back of your mind. But if a man paid for his crime, can you let him live? Can he eat? Can a motherfucker eat? Honestly, can a motherfucker eat? Can he break some bread? Is it okay that he breaks bread? All you motherfuckers out there judging, I bet y'all did worse shit. I know I did. When I was Canelo Alvarez's age, I did so much cocaine. The rails were the size of train tracks. Just saying. Just saying. He got his punishment. He paid his fines. And he hasn't got popped since. Now, if he does get popped again, then give him the shit he deserves. But I am one of those people that believe if you did your time for the crime you did, you're done. Unless you messed with a kid. That's a different story. Then you're dead to me for life. But anything other than that, even if you committed murder and you did your fucking life sentence, you did your 20 plus years and came out, you did your time. Hopefully you got rehabilitated. This is boxing, people. This is boxing. Are you going to get up there and fight? No. But here we got these men and women up there putting their lives on the line. So you know what? Back off just a little. Oh, hold on. I got somebody up here. Hey, Mark. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How are you?
I had a few things on my mind and I didn't know what to do. I felt like I had to let it off my chest, man.
I've been enjoying. I've been really enjoying listening. You actually had me laughing my ass off at one point because you used some of the most common sense arguments I've ever heard. You know, it's crazy to hear you going. So many people saying Tiafimo's undisputed. You're like, that belt is Devin Haney's, right?
Yeah,
And then out of nowhere, you just used this argument. Devin Haney has a WBC belt. There's huge dispute there.
But it is. You look,
Yeah.
I openly admit, did he earn that belt? No. But the fact still remains. The belt's his.
The belt is his.
The belt is his. No questions asked. You can't. All right. Well, no. How do you do this? You can't dispute that, but it's in dispute. Hold on a second. Budo, what's up? And it bothers me. It bothers me that when I saw Teofimo Sr. get up there and say what he said, the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. I instantly shot through the roof of my house because why is this motherfucker traveling with belts to another boxing match?
Promotion.
And then for him to say, well, my son did it first. Your son did not do that first. Your son won a fucking franchise belt. Now, whatever and I know you explained it to me already, Mark. I already know, and I understood it. Do I agree with it? No. But is that what happened? Yes.
Look, this is what I label Teofimo as, right? I call him the unified lineal lightweight champion because he is actually lineal. Him and Loma was 1 versus 2, but that unifiable belt went vacant. The franchise title is not unified with the WBO, WBA, and IBF. It's not unified with them, which is what you need to be undisputed, is to have all of the titles unified.
And you know what? I blame Loma for that, for accepting the franchise belt.
Mm-hmm.
I blame Loma for that.
I blame Bob Arum specifically because he's the one who petitioned for all of these things, so he could keep everything in house, so that Lomachenko versus Devin Haney wouldn't have ended up over on the zone because Eddie Hearn would have outbid him. Because he's cheap. Bob is cheap.
Makes sense.
Budo, how you doing, my brother?
What's up, Jed? Just laughing my ass off just like Mark.
I don't know. I've been keeping quiet about the whole thing, especially in other channels, right? I want to say shit, but then I know that if I say shit, I'll fucking get crucified. You know? But this is my channel, so I'm going to say what the fuck I want. And I'm going to say how the
Talk
fuck
your
I
shit,
feel.
kid. Talk your shit.
And but it bothers me, and I don't like it. I don't like it. And I don't like the fact that they constantly make excuses for either a win or a loss. You know, I ain't mentioning what channel I saw this in, but people were watching. They were magnifying the picture of of Canelo Alvarez's abs, which, if you ask me, was kind of creepy. But they were like they were monitoring and looking at every inch of his abs, and you are
Injection,
lying.
looking for injection marks, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Another channel was playing a video of Canelo Alvarez taking taking some sort of supplement or pill or something with green juice. So he called it some foreign green liquid. What the fuck? Yeah, he's gonna do that. He's gonna do something illegal in public. That's it. You know what, Mark? You know what I think I should do? I think I should go get me an ounce of cocaine and go sniff that shit by a fucking police station. What do you think?
Don't do you do you, boo. Why not, man? Go into the police station and do what they're doing it. So why not join them?
That's it. That's it. Look, guys, hey, I got rails. Anyone want to join me? Come right in and vacuum fucking lung that shit up. What the fuck? Is it really that bad out there? Are these people really that? Where are they that bored, or are they that fanatical about their boxer?
Um, are we talking about consistency across the board?
Across the board, yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't exist in boxing. I don't think it ever has existed. And to be honest, I don't think it exists in sports. I don't think there's anything called consistency across the board and equality in any field of life. In any field of life.
What's up, I,
maybe that's just from my perspective, right, Jed? But I know that the ideal media would be consistency across the board. But even the most unbiased of fans, right, will still have biases. I have them.
and you know, yeah, I do believe that, because I find myself sometimes being biased. In fact, you're the one that pointed out that I was being biased. You fuck.
Bro, look. I actually do have serious. When a fighter has unfair advantages, in my opinion, I tend to instantly dislike them, and it is very hard for me to give them the paramount amount of credit. It is very difficult if I don't see a fight on an even playing field, because I know how dangerous the sport is.
Yeah, it is. It is dangerous.
So if I see a fighter, whether it's from glove wrap stacking, whether it's from how do I word this? Whether it's from weight stipulations, glove wrap stacking, whether it's from dictating terms in a contract, whatever. I understand fighters have A sides, right? It's just for me, I don't really like advantages because I think a contest should be fair. So it is difficult for me to find the equality.
Give
So
me
it's
a
hard for
second.
me to put them on an even keel because they're not putting themselves on an even keel, if that makes any sense.
All right, give me a second. Give me my due. Who are you? Before I add you up here, because I don't want no swinging dicks getting up on cam. So, who are you? If you're somebody I know, let me know. Private chat.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
he's okay. He's
Okay.
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 I recognize that name right away.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry, RG. You're
Mark,
my brother.
of course, Mark would recognize it right away. Like
Well,
I've never used this name, but he knows my personality so well that he would know that it's me.
I
And
don't, I don't,
once he saw
I
the
don't,
picture, he would have known.
I don't really appreciate the picture, but
You love
I
Tenacious D.
yeah, I know, but that's between you and your God, you Satanist.
I gotta ask one of you, huh? Because I was on a live with Puro the other day. Puro, what did you? All right, we're not gonna call out any channels, but you were there for this conversation. Did it bother you the way that people were riding on Teofimo the way they were?
Um, I actually just realized something not too long ago. That's why I actually came onto YouTube to see who was on. I was actually going to ask Mark a question. And let me ask this beforehand. It did bother me. But there's other things that are starting to bother me even more. But I'll comment on those things when I kind of like put two and two together in my head.
All right, all right. All right. You had a question for Mark?
Oh yeah. It's kind of a joke. I put a question. Mark, do you think one day, literally, every accomplishment that any boxer ever tries to attain or receive is going to get criticism if it hasn't already?
I think every single achievement to date, um, I think every fighter who's achieved something, there's a critique there. You can name a fighter, I'll give you a critique. Anyone you want.
But
I
that's
hear you.
always been through history. But
So it's
I
more
have
of
no problem with that.
what's those questions called that don't have no answer?
I feel as though, yeah, eventually everybody's going to receive more critique than criticism, more critique than praise, because that's the way. I don't want to get too philosophical on it, but a lot of people in today's society don't achieve anything, so they criticize people who do, to make themselves feel better. And I think that's becoming more and more every 2, 3 years. I'm sure you guys have noticed it. You have a lot more people who denigrate the achievements of others than praise them because they don't achieve anything in their own lives.
That's true.
And I think
I
that's
agree.
happening more and more because unemployment's at an all-time high. Um, People socializing's at an all-time high, for crying out loud. Like, lack of socializing anyway. Like, not there's so many people who don't do anything with themselves, don't do a single thing. They try to critique others, they try and push what they are onto other people without even knowing what they do on a day-to-day basis, where they go, who they're with, what their lives are. And they they start pushing this on sports athletes. I mean, how many? We all know a guy who thinks they could step into the ring and knock out Lomachenko. We all
Yeah.
we all know a guy who thinks that they can go into the NBA tomorrow morning, right? Who probably has played 2 games of basketball in their entire life, thinks they could go into the NBA tomorrow morning and guard Kevin Durant. You know what I mean?
Give me a second here, gentlemen. Okay, I'm gonna let another person up here, but again, I need to know who you are because I don't want to see no swinging dicks. It has never happened on my channel, and I want to make sure that it never happens at all. Period. So, Oscar Prince Bo or whatever, I need to know who you are. Write it in the private chat if I know you. If I don't know you,
Oscar Prince Boateng is a subscriber of mine in my chats.
okay, so you can vouch for him.
If it's genuinely him, yes.
Yeah, because it could be somebody just saying that he's
It
him
could be
too.
someone using his name, but
Hmm. Say
no.
something. Say something in chat, brother.
Actually, Oscar, in the private chat, what baseball team do you support?
So real
Yeah,
quick, while we're waiting.
that's him. That's him.
Okay,
Okay.
there you go.
I just want to
It-
say something real quick though. This whole thing about Tiafimo being undisputed kind of reminds me of I like this show. I mean, it's over now, but it's called Kitchen Nightmares for anybody who's seen it.
oh yeah,
And
yeah.
and Gordon Ramsay asked this one guy. he took out some meat that was frozen, and he's like, "I thought you used fresh food, fresh food." He goes, "That is fresh. It's frozen fresh." Well, Tio is disputed, undisputed right now. All right, the shit just don't make sense. Don't call yourself undisputed. Go get that real WBC belt that is recognized amongst the other sanctioning bodies. Then you can say that you've accomplished this. But you can't.
Exactly.
Your dad has no business saying that you accomplished it first because you've yet to accomplish it at all.
Exactly. The fact that his dad did that at somebody else's fucking, victory party is disgusting. I found it fucking, you know, I just found it disgusting, hair raising. It was just like, what the fuck? How bad do you got to chase? Honestly, how how many coattails are you going to ride on to make get the fuck out of here?
Here's the thing: Canelo just won. He just became undisputed.
Yeah,
Tio, you haven't fought in over a year. How about you? How about you make a night your night? That way you can get all the attention.
now you're gonna get me going. Now, see RGM. This next segment is all your fault. Just letting you know. I'm just letting you know where I'm going. Right? You already know where I'm going now. All right. Let's talk on that. The fucking inactivity. The people talking all this shit. These boxers talking all this shit and not fighting amongst each other to prove that they deserve a shot at the payday, Canelo payday Alvarez? Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, I agree.
And the one that I have the least amount of respect for is Andretti. Is that right? Is Andretti, right?
Yeah, Andrade.
Demetrius Andrade?
Whatever you want to call
Yeah.
him.
When's the last
Okay.
time he fought?
Against Liam Williams.
When was that? Wasn't that over a year ago?
Nah, I think it was
No.
less than a year.
Or was that in
It was
February?
this year, right?
That was this year.
Was it?
It
Oh,
was
was
this
February this year? Was it February?
That's still been a little while though.
No, that was in
Jones.
April or May.
April or May?
I have it here. Yes, 17th of April.
Okay.
Yeah, 17th of April.
Okay.
Because he
So
was
then,
there
then,
at
then I
the
was
Billy Ho
wrong.
fight.
Then maybe it wasn't. Who was the guy that Canelo said, "Get the fuck out"? Who you fight?
It was him.
That's Andre.
It was
Demetrius
him.
Andrade.
It was him. But
Well,
he's referring to that his resume itself.
His caliber of opposition.
Yeah,
Oh,
not not how often he fights.
Oh,
I mean, Andrade could stand to fight a little bit more often though. I mean,
all
Canelo.
these guys can.
Yeah, all of them can. I mean, I'll say Canelo right now. He's probably been fighting. Over the past year and a half, he's probably fought about as much as he should because he's been pretty active. But a lot of these other guys, including some of my favorites like Terence Crawford, like
Wait.
yeah, he has this fight coming up later this month, but it's been a while since he's been in the ring.
Hold on a
and he
second.
ain't
Hold on.
young.
Let's acknowledge something that you just said. I mean, this is strictly from a common sense position because I'm a simple-minded motherfucker. It's that simple. I am. You got to talk to me like I'm 5 years old sometimes. No lie. Okay. These fights that Canelo Alvarez has had have been undefeated fucking champions, and nobody wants to give him his just due.
No, I give him I've been known to
Nobody.
be a Canelo criticizer, but I got to give him his respect on being undisputed. I can't be calling for undisputed all this time, and then when a guy makes it happen, then I'm not going to give him credit for it. I'm not going to do that.
From what I understand, right? This is maybe I'm wrong. Mark, you could correct me, please. But from what I understand, he was on a mission. He wanted to unify the belts, and that's what he did.
Yeah, he did.
Am I getting it wrong, or was that the wrong route to go?
No, it's a fact, right? He went to 168. I think a bit of the criticism is he was also at 160 and 175, right?
Right.
And he was 2 fights away from being undisputed at 160, which is a marquee division, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right. I can see that. Yes.
Yeah. See,
He
and I
had the mandatory with the Revianchenko and then one unification with Andrade. Now, I understand where you're coming from when you say these fighters are undefeated champions, right? But just because you're an undefeated fighter doesn't or even an undefeated champion, doesn't necessarily mean you're a tough proposition. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're as good as an undefeated champion was made out to be in the 80s or 90s.
Yes.
You need to look at
Good,
what's
good.
there.
Yeah. Good.
What's there?
Good analogy. I'm glad you
You
said
need
that.
to you need to go beyond the surface. If you just state things based off of face value, everything sounds phenomenal, right? Like
Yes. Yes.
if I were to turn around to you and say, "Wow, Canelo's had 4 world title fights in the last 11 months," it sounds fantastic, right? That's amazing. 4 world title fights in 11 months, 3 unbeaten champions in a mandatory. The mandatory just so happened to lose to Jack Cullen. You know who Jack Cullen is? No, exactly. Surface.
I didn't want to sound stupid, but yeah, no, I didn't know who Jack Cohen
It's
was.
it's and that's not to critique Nello. I respect he went undisputed. I respect that he is the first 4 belt 168 pound undisputed champion. I respect that he is the first 168 pound undisputed champion. I respect that he's Mexico's first 4 belt undisputed champion. But once again, surface, right? Notice how we're adding words onto these titles. He's the first 4 belt Mexican undisputed champion. He's not the first undisputed Mexican champion. You're just adding on words to make the achievement
Yeah,
sound spectacular.
when was the last time we had an undisputed Mexican? Wasn't that was it hold on a second, let me think. Fuck.
I think it's
Probably
Oliveira.
Oliveras. Probably
Oliveira's?
maybe Saldivar. Would have been in around that time period.
See, my criticism of Canelo right now is that how much greater would this have been had he also gotten undisputed at 160? He could have been 2-time undisputed champion, and that would have been so much greater. But at the same time, he did make it happen, so I'm going to give him at least that much respect.
Absolutely.
There's
He
one
blames
fight that
Golden Boy.
I'm sorry, I wanted to introduce you. Oscar Prince Boateng. Yeah. Please introduce yourself. I'm sorry that I had a question who you were, but you can never be too careful. So,
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I see that a lot in other channels, but it's all good, brother.
all right.
Nothing to be mad about. Now, I just want to say, well, Canelo blamed Golden Boy that he said that according to Canelo, he said that he wanted a unified at 160, but he said that it was all because of Golden Boy that they weren't letting him unified, like they were the ones matchmaking for Canelo.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, you know what? I heard that he wasn't happy with Golden Boy, and if the reasons that I heard were, and mind you, this is shit that you hear on other channels. The reasons that I heard, it makes sense. And if Golden Boy was not looking out for Canelo's best interest, then I can understand, not wanting to be with them anymore. And Boxing Jedi, what am I upset about? I'm upset about all the shit talking going on other channels. I'm upset about the fact that people won't give their boxers their just due. Like I'll give you a for instance, Jedi. The fact that they talk about Colin Smith and Caleb Plant uh, not fighting to the level that they thought that those two taller, longer reached boxers fought. Of course, Canelo Alvarez had nothing to do with the fact that he stopped him from boxing that way. He stopped him from bullying him around, and he ended up being the bully. But they won't give Canelo Alvarez any fucking due whatsoever. And then they'll take away from the fact that somebody was saying there was some fucking ridiculous channel saying Caleb Plant took a dive. Are you fucking kidding me? That man put his heart out there.
I want to say something though, as to, and I'm not saying you're right or wrong where you're standing on. But back to what Oscar was saying about Golden Boy not letting Canelo fight, for the undisputed at 160. I don't buy that because they also didn't want him to fight Lara, and because he wanted to fight him, he fought him. So if he wanted a fight, he could do it. Mind you, he did when he fought Lara, he had less quote unquote clout than he did when he was at 160. So I find it hard to believe that if he really wanted to be undisputed at 160, he could make shit happen when he fought Lara when he was less popular. He was popular, don't get me wrong, but he was even more popular at 160. So I personally don't buy it. However, if you do believe that, I'm not going to say that you're dumb, because to me, logically, it doesn't make sense. But at the same time, sometimes what makes sense isn't always what's happening.
RGM, honestly, I don't know what to believe. That's how come I don't come to conclusions. I'm just going by what I see now. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm a judge somebody from what I see. I
Because
can't.
that's what
I
Canelo
can't.
said.
Yeah, that's what they want for all of us, bro. They want you to fucking pulling your hair out, trying to figure out what the fuck who you should believe, bro. You know?
Yeah. Oh, boxing Jedi.
That's what they want. They're like, fucking Teofimo, undisputed, disputed. I don't know. Is Devin Haney? Devin Haney has a title. Is he really the champion? I don't know.
No,
that's what they want.
You know what? I'm gonna put it to you this way. When the Devin Haney situation? Wait, first let me address what Jedi said. I heard that. I was watching a video on that. See, I'm all over the place. God, you guys got me working, man. Mark, Jedi, fucking RGM, all you guys got me working. It's like I got a job and I'm not working, man. What the fuck? I watched so many different videos. Jedi, I saw that video and I was listening to it, but for some reason my brain didn't register anything bad about it. These are two boxers in the ring talking shit to each other or just talking to each other. Like when Canelo pointed out to Colin Smith about, look at your arm, man. Yeah, and he acknowledged it. Yeah, motherfucker, I could imagine a conversation, because if I was in the ring and when Canelo busted my arm up like that, I would have said, "You're a fucking bitch." I would have said some shit like that, But that's that. I did see that video, but let's get on this Haney shit. Do I think Haney deserves the belt? I'm going to say it straight out. No. He did not fight a boxer of caliber to earn the belt. Is the belt Haney's? Yes. Does that mean Teofimo is not undisputed? You're fucking A right that means that. So that means Teo needs to fight Haney. End of story.
And you know what? After this JoJo fight, win, lose, or draw, I think I don't know if Mark was on that live, but I think Big IQ said it at one time. If that's really what he wants, give it to him, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Pillow Fist fight Teofimo. Because Pillow Fist got fast hands. I'm not gonna lie. Pillow Fist has. I'm sorry. I better stop calling him Pillow Fist. Devin Haney has fast hands. See, that sounded a little judgmental, so I need to back off a little bit. But but Devin Haney needs to. He has fast hands. I would love to see him fight Teofimo. Who do I think will win? I do believe Teofimo would win. I believe that. I believe he would win. But that's my opinion. And opinions are like assholes. I thought Jamel Herring was going to win. How did that shit go?
Not very well.
No.
Can I Can I say something? Because you brought up a point to me that was quite intriguing, right? We talk about like fighting a fighter, like you're not really like, do you deserve it because you didn't fight a top fighter, right? So with Devin, right, he became champion, essentially elevated, and he fought Alfredo Santiago. So he became interim by beating Zara Abdullayev, right? So Abdullayev and Santiago is what made him a champion, right? Now I know that Canelo at 168 beat Billy Joe Saunders, right?
Right.
Do you know how? Yeah. How do we know that Billy Joe Saunders was of the level of a champion at 168? He won his title by beating Shifa Isipi. Now, Shifa Isipi, to my recollection, is the lowest ranked fighter to fight for a vacant title in 27 years
But the
in the
title was his,
entire
right?
sport. No, it was a vacant title. The
Oh,
title was vacant. Saunders won the title fighting against quite literally the worst challenger, for worse than Avni Yildirim.
so it was like a Devin
Good
Haney
point.
type of
Good
situation.
point.
No, it was way worse.
It was way worse. Okay.
Like I say, surface isn't the end all be all in these conversations.
No,
Depth is very important.
I totally get it. So then, in my opinion, I would have the same opinion of Billy Joe as I do of Devin Haney. Do I think he deserves it? No, I don't think he deserves it. He didn't fight somebody of substance, But is the belt his? I'm gonna say the same thing like I say about Haney. The belt is his. End of subject. The belt is
Hey,
his.
I agree with you, Jeff. I agree with you. He paid his sanctioning fee. That belt is his.
And that's another thing about boxing that bothers me. All these different belts and all these sanctioning fees. Oh my fucking god! That's a moneymaker for them, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, can I talk about that real quick?
No, please do, because I need this. Please,
Okay.
like you're
So
talking to a 5-year-old.
up until recently, I want to talk about this. So you had the WBO, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBC, right? Let's just go with the standard 17 weight divisions because that's a lot anyway. Let's not talk about Bridger because it's one, right? Now, up until recently, the WBA, you had 4 main titles, right? Fuck the silvers, etc. You had the WBA Super, Regular, Interim, and Gold. Okay? That was credited as a world title of some merit. The WBC had the Interim, the Franchise, okay? The Interim, the Franchise, and the World. That's 3 titles. So that's 7 world titles right there. The IBF and the WBO, you could have possible 2 champions there with the interim and the regular titles. So that's 4 more. That's 11. 11 times 17. Okay? It's 187, I think. So in a scheme in boxing where all of those titles are filled, there was a possibility between 4 sanctioning bodies. You could have 187 world champions.
Now, how much are the sanctioning fees?
Differentiates fighter to fighter, purse to purse. Because not, for example, Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring, right? The sanctioning fees on the WBO title in that fight are nowhere near the same amount as the WBO title sanctioning fees that Canelo and Plant had on the line. That was a 50 million purse fight. So they're gonna make more money on sanctioning fees than probably Shakur made against Herring.
Oh man.
Probably like 5% or something, maybe 10.
That's not even remotely close to right. Why do they do that? Why would they make the game so confusing?
Well, it doesn't. If sanctioning fees specifically don't make the game confusing, right? What's confusing? The amount of belts.
Yeah,
they
amount
do.
of belts do.
Yeah, the amount of belts. The fees themselves, they don't. Why do people, human beings, make people pay money to hold something? Greed, Jed? Perhaps. Maybe that's the reason why. Greed makes things. Greed makes everything confusing, doesn't it?
See, that's exactly how you have to talk to me, Mark, like a 5-year-old, so I can understand. Thank you.
No, I'm not talking to you like. I don't think I'm talking to you like a 5-year-old. I think not because a 5-year-old wouldn't understand that. It's philosophical, really.
I totally get it. I'm just giving you shit. My thing is my thing is this. Okay, then you run into situations like we're running into right now. All right, and I don't and it leaves a foul taste in the mouths of the fans, in my opinion. And then you get all this divisiveness going on, and a rift in the boxing community happens. And I might say, in my opinion, it's a nasty rift. I don't like it, and people are adamant about their sides. It's like, oh god, it's hard to swallow. Plain and simple. It's just a hard fucking pill to swallow. And I don't think it's right. I really don't think it's right. And the fact that the fact that these promoters will go ahead and encourage the misinformation for money and feed into it more is just like the icing on top of the cake. Let's say, what Red Glove says, boxing put the taste of caca in Jed's mouth. Fuck you, RGM. But God, this ended up being a bigger conversation than I thought I was going to have, and that's cool. I like that. I want things to go back to simpler times. Is that ever going to happen? Do you think, or is that an impossibility? That's open to everybody.
I'll let the other two fellows answer.
I think it's impossible.
It's up to you, Jed, how you want to see what all this is. I mean, like, to me, like, I could fucking, argue with other dudes on here about this, that, and the other, or I could just accept what it is, and just wait for the fights and hopefully get a good one. That's my perspective on it.
What were you trying to say, Oscar?
I think it's not possible to go back to. I think like now every sport, it's not even considered a sport anymore. It's considered a business. If you look at it, because like every sport changes, and I mean, like me, like personally, my favorite sport is soccer, and if you look at it, it's like a lot of you have all these fucking dudes from fucking Middle Easterns fucking just throwing out money like crazy, buying off teams, this and that. And it's like the same. It's like nobody has a boss to say, you know what? Nah, this shit ain't right. Like you have this much money, and I have this much money. Same thing with like promoters. It's like look at fucking PVC, like with Tank Davis, for example. It's like they just want him to do fucking in-house fights. It's like if Tank had the balls to say, like, you know what, nah, Floyd, I want to do shit my way. I want to fight everyone. Then yeah, you could go back to simpler times where like everybody's fighting the best. But now you have guys like Tank, like he's letting Floyd take over his fucking career, and the dude's not even young. He's almost
Tank Davis just fucking stand up to Mayweather and say, I don't want to just fight in house. Didn't he do that?
I mean, they say he does, but I mean, at the end of the day, Floyd is the one that really makes the decisions for him. I mean, he's a fucking almost 30-year-old. I mean, what more does he have?
Yeah, he's gonna piss his fucking career away, because if he don't start getting in the ring with some fucking real fighters, people are gonna forget him.
I mean,
and I like him. That's what sucks. I like him.
His mistake was joining Mayweather team, because we already know how Mayweather works. So it's.
I have a question for you guys.
Incomplete had a question for the panel. Has Canelo become the greatest Mexican fighter of all time? No. Absolutely.
I got a follow-up question. Who decides if Chavez ever becomes overtaken. I mean, who decided that Chavez overtook whoever people thought was the last dude to hold that title?
No, I put it this way: Canelo is the greatest Mexican boxer right now. Period. And the subject. Right now, he's the greatest Mexican boxer there is right now. Is he the greatest ever? He has achieved greatness, yes. Is he the greatest? I can't say that he is. I can't say that he is, but I'm going by my judgment of the Mexican boxers that I grew up with, and that's a hard no. Am I taking away
Mhm.
from Canelo's achievements? No, I'm giving this man his respect. He's earned my respect. He's earned the accolades that he got. But that's not going to affect how I feel about Mexican boxers of the past. They did it first, and that's that, and they're going to stay there. And that's how I feel about it.
Can can I give an answer?
Yeah, no, please.
Yeah,
That was to
Mark,
the panel.
I actually want to hear what you have to say.
Um, it's gonna be a really, really boring answer, but there's no such thing. There is no such thing as the greatest of all time. It's a question that can never be factually answered. It's just a theory, and a lot of people push out their opinions on it. But the reality of it is greatness isn't singular, and the amount of greatness isn't singular to one specific person. Canelo beats out a lot of Mexican fighters in specific statistics. They beat him out in specific statistics. Then there's other things that will go into it, fandom, etc., amount of money gained. There's a lot of different attributes that can go into what defines greatness, and it's just people's opinions and kind of like people trying to follow their opinion and push it over. So there is no real thing called the greatest of all time. It's just a conversation that people like to have. But the actual word, the GOAT, doesn't exist because it's never something that can be truly determined. It's just something people can give their opinions on.
I have to agree with Mark on that one. What about you, Puro?
Militant, that's funny, bro. I like it. Let's take it to Oscar, and I'll tell you. Give you my
All right,
perspective.
Oscar, what's your answer to that question?
No, I think Chavez is still number one, no matter what. Just the fact for what he did in the ring. But I think Canelo can probably sit at that table. But like
All right,
I think what you
all right.
said,
I'll bite. I'll bite. I want to bite on this. When did Chavez become the number one Mexican fighter of all time?
after he
I
retired.
don't even remember, man.
When was it just Chavez is still number one? What about what about Oliveras?
D Dubs
When
is
did
still
he
going.
stop and Chavez take? Actually, here's another one. What about Baby Arizmendi? People don't even mention him. Canelo's best win on paper is Golovkin, right? What's Chavez's best win on paper? Camacho, right?
Major
Yeah,
Taylor.
Baby Arizmendi's best win on paper. He has 2 wins over Henry Armstrong.
I was gonna tell you that.
So, like, what? Like I say, it's not a question that can be answered. It's just, oh yeah, this dude is the go. Oh no, this dude is the go. You're gonna have so many. I honestly think, and this will probably blow people's asses out. I think Marco Antonio Barrera gets extremely overlooked in the
Oh yeah, and
conversation.
I have to agree with you.
Extremely overlooked.
I have
I
to
think
agree
he
with
does.
you.
Um, eh, I just don't think there's such a thing. I'm sorry for interrupting. I think it's such a crap I hate having those combos and people
But
pushing it.
it's a subjective type of. It's a
I,
subjective
yeah,
conversation.
but people represent it as though it's Chavez is still the greatest, and that it's just going to stay that way. When did it happen? How can it stay that way if it's never been truly done?
Well, here's the thing. I'll put it to you this way. Remember when we had the conversation on state of boxing tonight or today? We had a similar conversation, and I was afraid to say my pound for pound greatest boxers of all time. And I was, because it's a biased opinion, I was afraid to say, for me, it was subjective. For me, Mike Tyson is one of the greatest pound for pound boxers of all time. You know, he's on my top 10 list. But that's a subjective opinion because him and I are similar age, and I grew up in a time where I looked at this kid that was similar age to me doing all that he did while I was doing what I was doing, which was not exactly legal, but but doing what I was doing as violent as I was. I I I I found a lot of similarities with Mike Tyson. So this is why this man is so important to me in my life. But it's a subjective opinion. That being said, Mark makes absolute sense. How can you say it? It really doesn't exist. The answer to that question really doesn't exist. It's all subjective. You can pull up all the numbers you want. You can.
Look,
And you can dispute numbers all day. But at the end of the day, it's still a subjective opinion.
Check it out. This is the best way, in my opinion. The fighters have to fight each other to see who's who's better. So I say they set up after Canelo retires, of course, a fight between Chavez and Canelo. Whoever wins, the best of all time. What do you guys think?
I
Yeah,
mean, look at it like this. You can have a whole heap of achievements, right? And people can say achievements are what defines greatness, right? But then maybe like nobody knows who the hell you are, right? Greatness can be interpreted many ways. Was Alexander the Great because of how many places he conquered, or was he great because of how many people revered him and wrote about him? What if those people didn't write about him? Nobody would know who Alexander the Great is, so he wouldn't be great, would he?
exactly.
What if they called him
So
Alexander the Hunt? Would he still be great?
they may not have even called him anything, and he never existed. Maybe he did exist. Maybe there's a whole heap of different things that go into this, and it's been something that I've discussed with so many people, and like especially considering I talk to people who consider themselves historians or real scholars of boxing, and they like to rank and determine people based off of these things. Like there's just no equivocal way of answering an absolute when nothing is absolute. I mean, eras and eras are different. I have absolutely no idea how Floyd Mayweather would have done in the 40s, right? I've no idea. People can give me their opinion, but the truth is, there's no correct answer to any of that stuff. There's just no correct answer.
I agree. That's why I said, like, literally, right now, Canelo, he's a pretty bad boy. So I say when he retires, and hopefully Chavez Sr. is still alive, they fight. Whoever wins on this is the best Mexican of all time. I think that I think that's fair.
I mean, yeah, but where are we getting the time machine?
No, not a time machine. At their current ages.
That's not really fair, putting like a 60-year-old body there with a prime fighter who's 40 pounds heavier than them.
But it's just fit. What's the word I'm looking for? It's the best we're gonna get to actually like.
But let me ask this question then: what's greater, the bigger, stronger guy who's 30 years younger? What defines greatness more? Getting into the ring and winning the fight against the dude he should win, or the man who should not even enter that ring, having the heart and courage to get in? What's greater? Because a heart that doesn't fail you, to me, is greater than a heart that knows the outcome. A heart that knows it's going to lose, but will continue no matter what, is greater than the heart that knows no, but the heart that can't lose in that situation.
I agree.
So just if that fight were to even happen and it was a real fight, Chavez would be greater than Canelo
Right? No, that makes sense to me.
because he's gone into a fight where he could die. Canelo's gone into a fight where he could kill. Takes way more greatness to die.
Yeah, I agree
That's
with that.
true.
There's been something else on my mind that's been bothering the fuck out of me. And I've noticed a lot of people have been doing this, and I'm so sick of hearing this shit. This is another point that I get fucking upset about. People fall asleep on certain boxers because they're older. I have gotten a lot of shit because I say this is exactly what I say. In my opinion, there is only right now at this point there is only one boxer out there that has the skill, that has the experience, that has already fought Canelo, twice and was able to do damage and give him the best fight that he's ever had. Yet they constantly, put this man. Oh, he's out to pasture. He's over the hill. I'm tired of people talking about Lomachenko, not Lomachenko, Triple G. I'm tired of people talking about Triple G as he's past tense. This motherfucker has not quit boxing. And I wish people would stop putting him out to pasture. Do you guys feel similarly to me, or do you feel that I am just, talking out my ass? I really think they should fight again. I really do. And I think it would be a win-win situation. And here's what I mean. If Lomachenko, God, why do I keep saying Lomachenko? If Triple G fights Canelo again and wins, what kind of achievement would that be? That would be a great achievement. Now, so that's one win. If Triple G loses and Canelo wins, in my opinion, that shuts up all the unanswered questions. But of course, then you'll have those people saying, "Oh, that he was old, he was past prime, blah blah blah." I don't give a fuck. That man got some skills. And he would not. I feel he would not be afraid to put it out there, 110%. Now, am I talking out my ass? Am I making a point, or am I missing something?
What do you have to say, Mark?
Y'all can hear me, yeah?
Now we hear you.
No, you've got a point, man. You've got a point. There's no issue with any of those things happening. It's just the only issues you'll find will come from fans, right? So fans of those specific fighters. That's all it is. They're the only people who'll take umbrage with your statement. You're talking in raw facts. That's a raw fact.
How do you feel when they say he's too old? Does it bother you? He's still boxing.
I think he's about to become a unified middleweight champion in December. He's not exactly a bad guy, is he?
No.
Yeah.
So why do they keep putting him out to pasture?
They don't like him.
Canelo fanboys are doing that.
What fanboys?
Canelo fanboys, I could see doing that.
Oh God, you're right.
It's not just Canelo fanboys. It's also Charlo fanboys.
Yeah, Charlo and Benavidez.
Oh,
And
right.
Andrade. Yeah, and Benavidez. It's people who want their fighter to maybe get the fight or think this guy doesn't deserve it or whatever. To me, any fight from Andrade, Golovkin, Charlo, Benavidez, Bivol, Beterbiev, if they're any of those guys are Canelo's next opponent, I'll sit there and I'll watch the fight, right? I don't mind which one it is. I don't think there's an order of merit system on who deserves it the most, right? I think any of the guys are credible challenges in their own respective ways, and they're all different challenges. None of the fighters fight the same, which is actually a kind of cool thing. That all five are different. It's just you will see maybe Canelo's fans want a different fight. And maybe not all of them will agree. I know some Canelo fans who want his next fight to be Benavidez. I know some who want it to be Charlo. I know some who want to shut the Triple G fans up. I know some want them to fight Baterby Evans. Some want him to fight Bivol, and some even want him to fight Joe Smith. There's a lot of different choices.
Yeah, no,
Go ahead.
continue. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
There's something about the Benavidez fight that I like Benavidez a lot. I do.
So is that the fight you want to see the most out of those fights, Jed?
No, I want to see the Triple G fight. But here's why I don't want to see Canelo fight Benavidez yet. All right. I think Benavidez still needs some more under his belt. I think Benavidez needs a couple more tools in that belt of his. And I'd hate to see someone with the skills and the abilities that Benavidez has to get knocked off, because in my opinion, as it is right now, Benavidez, in my opinion, cannot beat a Canelo. Right? I would rather see a more experienced Benavidez fight Canelo.
Here's my thing, right? And y'all can tell me if I'm a little off base here, right? But logic tells me, right? This is just logic tells me. I would have liked to have seen Callum Smith have more experience when fighting George Groves. And I would have liked to have seen Callum Smith have more experience fighting against Canelo. Right? I would like to see Avni Yildirim have more experience fighting Canelo, right? Right?
I see what you're doing.
I would have liked to see Canelo have more experience fighting Floyd.
Yeah.
I think Manny Pacquiao and Marquez maybe should have had more experience fighting each other all 4 fights. The truth is, really world champions and world level fighters prove themselves win, lose, or draw in their hardest matchups. Ali was not experienced enough to fight Sonny Liston. He was not. He was not experienced enough to fight Sonny Liston.
He had a big enough mouth too, though.
Crazy enough, this is going to be funny. Archie Moore challenged Joey Maxim, okay, for Joey Maxim's title and beat him. Yeah? Joey Maxim wasn't experienced enough to fight Archie Moore, and he was the champion.
But
I mean,
when I say what I said, okay, I think you know where I'm going. Yeah, I think you know what I meant, and of course you had to pick it apart. But when I said what I said, is because I like Benavidez' style. All right, he's a big boy. Okay, he's a big boy.
Yeah,
and he has the potential for such real greatness. I'd hate for someone like that to be. How do I put this correctly? Because this is borderline fanatical. I'd hate to see someone like that get knocked off, and then possibly his heart broken.
Possibly. Okay.
Possibly
Here's the thing: if his heart gets broken, then he wasn't meant to be. Canelo's heart.
That's what I'm
Canelo's heart didn't get broken, right? He fought Floyd. He lost every round in there. Right now, consensus: most people have him number 1 pound for pound in the world. He is the face of boxing. He got schooled by a man way smaller than him. Schooled. Got made look like a novice boxer. Here's my question, right? We talk experience. Now, I'm not trying to be an asshole or nothing. Who the fuck can David Benavidez fight that prepares him for what Canelo brings?
He could fight Lomachenko.
What the
Triple G?
No, what? God damn it! I meant Triple G.
Triple G and Canelo, right? They're different fighters.
Yeah, they are different fighters, but
that's why I like Mark. He speaks. He makes a lot of sense.
No, thank you. Most people think I'm a quack.
No, he does make a lot of sense. That's why. Why do you think I go to every fucking time I go to his cast every time he starts streaming? I'm there. And sometimes he
Well,
doesn't let me up on a panel, but that's because he doesn't want to hear my voice. So
No, it's because it's full. It's because it's full.
I didn't
You
mean to
join me.
say Lomachenko Jedi. Come on, even the panel knows I've been
He
making mistakes about
he's
Loma.
been mixing up Golovkin and Lomachenko for the last 20 minutes. I think it's because when he was making his points, he was talking a lot about Teofimo Lopez, and Lomachenko is on his mind because that's the marquee name of Teofimo Lopez. If that makes any sense, because that
Yeah,
can happen to all of us. Where we're focused on one specific topic, it derails into another, but we have one thing specifically on our mind.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I didn't mean Loma. I actually meant Triple G. But I would even though the fighting styles are different, um, the 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 measure of the man that would be the step up to go. You
But
know.
here's the thing, right? Let's say he fights Golovkin, right?
Hmm.
What happens if Golovkin breaks him?
Yeah, true. True.
Everybody will be like, "Oh, but he's old or whatever." Has Benavidez faced anybody with his caliber of jab? No. His ability to close the ring off? No. His punch power? No. His experience? No. It's literally the same thing as fighting Canelo. The only difference is one, he's not getting paid as much. Two, he's a completely different skill set. That type of experience doesn't prepare you specifically for Canelo. He needs to fight somebody who can bang and cut the ring off, or he needs to fight somebody who's defensively good. He need like you fight a 5'11" guy, it doesn't prepare you for a 5'7" guy. Man.
do you think Uzcategui could have been a good test for Benavides?
Not really. Uzcategui's shot now.
But doesn't he become the mandatory for a title shot
brother.
though?
Being a mandatory doesn't prepare you.
But I mean, though, right? If he wins this fight that he's gonna have, he becomes a mandatory, right?
Something like that, yeah.
I'd like to say fuck you to Ross Clot, asshole.
Let me ask let me ask the panel a question and correct me if I'm wrong and tell me if I'm tripping. I think what prepares you for any fighter, a Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, or fucking Ray Robinson, is that you literally fight every motherfucker they put in front of you, and hopefully, if they make that fight, you learned from every single opponent you faced, and you put it all together in that have a good coach that can develop a good game plan, and beat them. What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know. I don't know what prepares you to beat greatness. I think the only thing that beats greatness is greatness.
Right?
You can fight everybody put in front of you, right? Doesn't mean it prepares you. Like, look for example, right? This is just a little example. Look at Alida Alvarez and Sergey Kovalev. Alida Alvarez, not as great as Kovalev, but he beat him. What prepared him to beat a fighter who was that much ahead of him? His abilities.
Yeah.
His abilities is what did it. I mean, on resume, now, what prepared on resume Andy Ruiz to beat Anthony Joshua? Nothing.
For that fact, what prepared
Jed, please don't kill me. What prepared Buster Douglas to beat Mike Tyson?
Ah! You motherfucker!
What prepared him?
Why,
Himself.
On that night, he was great. Jed, I'm sorry, mate.
You asshole, man.
It's a very important comparison to make in the sport because it's one. Jed, I'm sorry that it's.
You can't help yourself.
I've been making this comparison since I was 15, mate. It's not going to stop just because you're here.
God damn it.
Trust me. Listen to Mark. He makes a really good point. You know?
I was gonna say, how was Teofimo able to get in there and beat Lomachenko? Now
That's a
I
great
finally
question.
said Loma in the right text. Okay. Because Loma, he was by
Hey,
far the underdog.
right. Look at this. A featherweight. Just look at this. Right? A dude beats Lee Selby, right? And beats Carl Frampton. And they're at their peaks. Josh Warrington fights against a dude who lost to journeyman, and was fighting on the Mexican scene, completely unknown, 20-1. What prepared Mauricio Lara to beat Josh Warrington? Him, his head, his mindset. How he prepared himself, not the opponents he fought. It's not always about the opponents you fight. You have to have something within yourself to beat these guys.
Yeah.
Shakur wasn't prepared to beat Jamel Herring based off of the opponents he fought in the ring in the pros. He was prepared to beat Jamel Herring by what he does in the gym.
Yeah, true.
So David
Okay,
Benavidez
go
is just as prepared as Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, and Colin Smith to fight Canelo. Just as prepared. Maybe he's even more prepared than they are. Why? Because maybe he's better than them.
So
Hits harder,
you say throw
throws
him in
his
the
hands
mix.
quicker. Maybe he's more skilled. Maybe he's stronger. Maybe he's tougher. Maybe he's willing to go to a place they're not willing to go. Who knows?
I see where you're going with it. I really do. And like I said, that's how come I said it's borderline fanatical, because there are some boxers that I'm actually looking at that I'm really interested in seeing how their future unfolds. You know what I mean? And Benavidez is one of them. Does that mean that I'm going to be, I'm going to be a fighter fan over a fight fan? No, I don't think so. At least I hope not. But I do believe that, I see a potential greatness in this kid. But you're right. I can't deny your logic whatsoever. I get afraid for these boxers. I hate to see a boxer get broken. I hate to see any boxer get broken. Like, I thought it was sad. What happened to Billy Joe? I thought, at the time it was a good fight. At the time you love seeing a good fight where they're mixing it up. But at the end of the day, I didn't want the man's orbital socket to get fucking broken and demolished the way it did. But I'm glad that I seen interviews afterwards of Billy Joe talking, and he hasn't decided what he's gonna do, and he's still recovering, so he's not ready to come back. But he didn't say he wouldn't come back either, So that's a good thing, because we could always use another boxer of his caliber in the mix. I just hate seeing, like, I'll give you the perfect example. I was a big fan of Tyrell Biggs. I really was. And I thought out of all the boxers that up until that point, I thought that all the boxers that Mike Tyson would fight, that I thought Tyrell Biggs would probably be the only one to beat him. And from what I saw happen to Tyrell Biggs by Mike Tyson, I was still a Mike Tyson fan, but this was one of those points that Tyrell Biggs I was also a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of heartbreaking to see what happened and what happened to his career afterward. The man was broken after that fight.
Absolutely. And Jed, while we're on the topic, right, of preparation, right, and being prepared, I think everybody here would probably agree. Sugar Ray Robinson is widely considered by a lot of people to be the greatest fighter of all time, right?
He's one of my pound for pound bests.
Yeah, many people consider him there, don't they?
Yeah.
Right. The very first top tier fighter he ever fought against, he was 20-0, right? Ray Robinson was 20-0 when he fought a guy called Sammy Angat. Okay? I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sammy Angat.
No. So
okay.
Go ahead.
But Sammy Angat, going into that fight with Ray Robinson may have beat one or two contenders, right? Sammy Angat, going into that fight, beat Petey Saron, beat Baby Arizmendi, beat a very good fighter in Leo Rodak, beat Freddie Miller, okay, and beat Wesley Ramey. Now, three of those guys that I've named, Arizmendi, Wesley Ramey, um, Freddie Miller, they're very serious dudes, even P.D. Saran. Now, these guys, uh, you could put a few of them into the top 100 fighters of all time. And someone like Freddie Miller is probably a top 20 fighter of all time, right? Ray Robinson was 20-0. No way in hell was he prepared for that fight. He won it. Sammy Angat's probably a top 10 lightweight of all time. What prepared him? How good he is. It's about how good you are. It is always about. People can say proven pedigree is a must. Not always. It's a, and that is reference to what Jedi said in the chat. Because Jedi said, where is it here? Let me scroll up here. A polished pedigree is a must-have. A polished pedigree is a bonus. It's not necessarily a must. I do like when a fighter is polished and is polished at a high pedigree, but there are exceptions to every rule. That's not to critique Jedi. That's just where I come from when I watch things. I've seen fighters who are not polished, who people make fun of. Like I remember Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe, people were making fun of him going into the Sheikah fight and Dave Stardy fights. He went on to be one of the greatest super middleweights of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 46-0 fighter, hell of a fighter. So it's not as simple as that. Great fighters will become polished at the end of their career, but during their career, they may not be polished and they may shock a lot of fucking people.
Exactly. Mark, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If Caleb Plant would have had Billy Joe Saunders' as resume, does that fight go any different against Canelo?
No.
Okay.
No.
And then one more. I want to ask you one more question too, Mark. I think it was Rothklatt was saying that shit. Let me see if I can find that so I don't misquote Rothklatt here, because that's a question I've had in my own head for a while.
Okay.
You know, it was a reference with the Buster Douglas. Okay, so the way Buster fought Tyson wasn't going to beat him that night. So I'm assuming it doesn't matter what version of Tyson, the way Buster fought, he wasn't going to beat Buster Douglas. Do you agree with that statement?
I don't think I can answer if actually yes or no. Because I know that's not the best Mike Tyson I've ever seen, but I know that was a hard fight for Buster. I know it wasn't easy. But still, I don't know if the best Mike Tyson wins that fight or if he doesn't. I think Mike Tyson would have beat Buster Douglas. The Mike Tyson who fought against Tony Tucker, I think would have beat Buster Douglas. But listen to the word that I'm using. I'm using the word think.
Yeah.
I think. And Raskla, in his what he's saying, I know that he's writing it down. There's no way he can win. Raskla will acknowledge it is his opinion. He'll acknowledge that himself.
No. And I think shit. I remember a couple of months ago I was arguing with somebody about. I'm sure it had something to do with sports, and I told them I want to start the obviously movement because, I think I don't know why, but I get annoyed that you have to kind of tell people that it's your opinion when it's obviously your opinion, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
I do think it's important to always say, in my opinion. I think it's very important. Yeah, I think it's a very important thing. I don't think it is as obvious as people think because a lot of people misrepresent fact for opinion. So I think it is important to say, in my opinion, because people will say.
I think so too, because I hear too many people, like screaming in the background. Facts, no, motherfucker, it's an opinion.
Or people will just say Canelo is the greatest Mexican of all time. I know that you're probably but I know that you're thinking to yourself, yeah, that's his opinion, right? But he's saying to you, he's not saying in his opinion. He's telling you. He's making a statement. He's not saying what he feels. He's telling you this.
Yeah, it makes sense what you're saying. It still annoys me.
That's very. I'm
But yeah,
sorry, but
yeah,
I just feel it's very important to say in my opinion. I
No,
really
no,
do.
no, and trust me, especially having these debates, I always have to remind myself to say, in my opinion.
yeah. I've been in plenty of panels with you, Puto, and I say the same thing. I say, in my opinion, this, that, and the other, and I try to get in there, get my word in edgewise, or get in there somehow to say something. But I always preface with, in my opinion, this is what I think, and this, that, and the other, which is what a lot of people don't do. And then people hear that, and then they take it as gospel.
Yeah, I hear you.
You
That's
know,
why when I read the comment that Red Glove Militant said with the factual facts, that's what made me laugh. That's why I laughed.
now you could take numbers. Now there's plenty of times that I'll take numeric value. All right, like like I did with the Canelo Plant fight. I took numeric value, and then I was disappointed in my outcome when the fight actually happened. But I was taking the numeric value of each pugilist's record. What they were watching, what their training is like. Whatever training videos I can get that I can see what their record is, and that's how come I came up with fifth round knockout, right? And I was very specific on how it happens. And then I was upset with myself when it ended up being 11th round knockout. And I kept asking myself, where did I go wrong? And then it was marked to say, you can't do that. You got to take you have to take the measure of the man, so to speak. I'm just summing up to what you said. And you have to add that factor. And then when you just look at numbers, you're never going to get exactly what's going to happen. You could possibly come close, but you also have to take the measure of the person and other factors. And numbers only go so far. Numbers only go so far. People aren't just numbers, and you got to remember that in boxing.
Yep. And Rathcliffe, I agree. I don't think any version of Tyson beats Lennox. But you always got to factor in that the blind nut or the blind squirrel theory. Out of 100 times, maybe you beat them once.
Mark, it was you and I that had that conversation, right? I'm not making a mistake there, am I?
Which conversation, mate? I'm gonna be dead honest with you. I was doing something on the toilet that you don't want to know about.
No,
I think you just told us, but it's all good.
When I made when I got upset, was it you that I was talking to when I got upset that I predicted the wrong round due to numbers? I was saying that this is what the numbers is telling me. And was it you that I was talking with, and you said you can't go by numbers, you got to go by the individual. And
Well, I don't think you got upset with me, but I did say that to you. You got to go by the individual.
I was upset with myself.
Well, I don't know because I didn't hear you sound upset at all. So I don't know if you got upset. But what I do know is we did have a conversation like that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I really was. I felt like I did something wrong.
Ah, yes. I remember this. I remember it now when you say, that's what you refer to when you say upset. Where did I go wrong? Right. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. That was a conversation. Yeah. But yeah, and you just can't treat these boxers like it's only numbers, and they're not. They're human beings with hearts, and
absolutely.
Each individual has a different heart, and when I say heart, I'm talking about the heart to fight.
Look, man, when you put things down to just pure numbers, you take the soul, the heart, and the reality out of it. You just put it down as a statistical number. This ain't Squid Games, motherfucker. 402. It's you.
Hagler beats Triple G and Canelo 1 month apart from each other. He was too intelligent. I'm not gonna deny that. Hagler was he was a fucking beast.
I think all of those fights are great fights. And I wish there was a way we could have seen them. I really do.
I'm telling you, though, I am excited for the future of boxing. especially in the lighter weights, because there's some names out there, including uh what's his name's son? What the fuck is his name? Holyfield's son. I like his son. His son has a good chin. Well, so far against the competition he's had, his son has a good chin, and boy, he has a hell of a punch. Because he did a beautiful knockout the last time I saw him fight. It was pretty.
Hey, Bart, in all the years that you've seen boxing, just the boxing you've seen, not anybody in the past, just the ones you've seen, or in video or live, who do you think has the best ring IQ of all the boxers you've seen?
The best ring IQ I've ever seen?
Yes, sir. In your opinion.
Fuck. Fuck. Jesus Christ.
Tough.
Who's the smartest fighter I've ever seen? In the ring. So, like, in my lifetime, or just what I've watched on tape?
In your lifetime, just in your lifetime.
In my lifetime, the smartest fighter I've seen in my lifetime, ring IQ wise, probably Floyd.
Smart man, you are. Me too.
I am going to say in my lifetime.
Keep in mind, people, Jet is like 77,000 years old.
In my lifetime, I would say it would be, yeah, I'm going to get shit for this. Between Ali, Larry Holmes, and I'd have to say Tyson in there. Tyson at his peak. Those three names right there, they had such a dominant factor in the ring and such command of the entire ring that the three of them, it's hard to choose between the three of them. Holy shit, I didn't get no shit from nobody? Oh, fuck. Cool.
No, I was sorry, Jen. I was going to ask you.
It's an opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll give you shit if it's a ludicrous opinion, but if it's it's not that ludicrous. I won't.
Yeah, if you had said to me like the best fighter you've seen like ring IQ ever is fucking like fucking Razor Ruddock, I would have fucking clapped you.
Yeah.
In the lighter lighter belts, in the lighter weights, I would be bringing up names like De La Hoya, Chavez, Pacquiao, fucking Floyd. Yeah, those kind of weights. In the lighter weights, I would be saying those names. But for me, I keep it to heavyweights when I think of ring IQ and stuff like that. But
I mean, if we're talking the best one, like in my lifetime, even one of the best ring IQs I've ever seen, very underrated, under-touted ring IQ is Finito.
That's it. That's another good one.
That dude was an 8. He was never a 10 out of 10 in any fight, right? I need to say this. He was always an 8.5, 9 out of 10 every single fight. He fought
was an apex predator, though.
Just every single thing he did was the exact same all the time, and he would make it work against every single opponent the exact same way, pretty much. Just a constant. That's a very extreme intelligence. He would vary his rhythm, so much. He could do a lot of things off of his attributes. Incredible fighter.
Now that I think of it.
Oh, here's a name I haven't heard in a while. Look at this.
Go ahead, Jed. I'm thinking.
No. I just put it up on.
Edward. Good old Edward. Right, yeah, Edward.
That's that's a name I haven't heard in a bit.
I mean, the question was that we've seen, right? Nobody on this platform has watched that man fight.
No, hell no. I
There's
said
no
it's
footage.
amazing.
There's zero. There's literally no footage of him. I'm blessed to know. I'm blessed to say that, like, up until my great grandfather passed away, I knew somebody who's seen him fight. You know, and could tell me what he was like.
You know who I
He-
would have loved to see was Jack Johnson fight. I would have loved to
There's
see.
footage of Jack Johnson.
Yeah, there is footage. But
Crappy
look,
footage,
I've
but there's
seen
footage. I feel you.
there is footage, yeah, and I have seen. I think I've seen every ounce of footage there was out there. But to actually, could you imagine what it was like? You know, barring all the fucking racism and prejudice back then, but the actual fight to be there in that weather for the amount of time they fought in the ring. Good Lord, that must have been a spectacle.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I really wish I could have. I could have watched like Holman Williams fight in his prime. I want to know what that was like. I really do. There's lots of fighters, you know.
Yeah, I was
What's the name
blessed.
of this
I was
fighter?
blessed to see one fight and one good fight in my life. I was blessed.
You guys will probably know. What's his name? He's a British fighter. There's a statue in Mexico of him because he fought. I think he fought Lupe Pintor. I'm not sure. I just forget his name. He's on the screen.
Can you pronounce it in English for me, my dude? Because the name that you said to me, um, was you said it Hispanic, so in Spanish, so I couldn't understand.
Lupe Pintor.
Yeah. What about him?
You know him, right?
I do.
Yeah. No, the picture that was on the screen from Thug Rose is John Keg, the Avatar. Who's that boxer? I'm just trying to remember his name.
Oh, Johnny Owens.
Johnny Owens. Thank you. Yeah, they have a statue of him in Mexico. I was trying to just remember his name because I just saw that. I saw a YouTube video about him. You know, because he died in that fight, right?
He did against Louis Pintor.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Merthyr Matchstick, he was called. He was from Merthyr Tydfil in the UK, from Wales.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was. We don't know what he would have, how good he was really overall. You know, I mean, dude had 28 fights. He was a British champion. He had previously lost at European level to Juan Rodriguez, but like you say, what prepares you to fight some of the best fighters in the world? He obviously wasn't really prepared to fight Lupe Pintor, was he? Unfortunately,
But he got in there, right?
he did.
He was definitely ready to see if he had what it takes. I mean, can we say the same about some of the boxers in this day and age?
Look, the boxers this day and age, you know, I hate saying it, and I've said it so many times. It's like there's a point of redundancy. I just want these boxers now to actually look for the legacy and not so much the fucking payday. But is that going to happen? More than likely not, because everybody's all about finance, and it's sad. But the legacy for me is it's vitally important. I love legacy fighters. I love people that look more for, you know, that not looking for the payday, but looking for the greatness. Those are boxers, in my opinion. Those are the true boxers that are looking for the greatness in the ring. There's a calling to them, to the boxing game. You know, there's a calling to them to be the best and beat the best. And I'm afraid that right now in this particular round of boxers, I like I said, there's something coming up that's different in the near future. But right now, there's so few people that are more about fighting the best out there, you know, than there is about, you know, than there are about just making the money. It's all about the money. Everybody wants Canelo for a payday. They don't want Canelo because he's the best. They want Canelo because it's a payday. There's a difference between wanting to fight a man for a check than wanting to fight a man because he's on top right now, and you want to knock him off that hill because you want to be on top. There's a big difference. and that is lacking right now.
Is it though?
No, it is. It is. I think it is. Well, in my opinion, yeah, I think it's lacking right now.
Shit.
Oh,
I
Prince,
mean,
you are more than
maybe
welcome up here anytime.
maybe it's always been lacking in every time, you know. Because I remember when I fell in love with boxing as a kid, I used to think all the boxers wanted what we say is lacking. But I was thinking as a kid, you know.
But I know there were people looking for paydays back in the '70s. I know there were people looking for paydays in the '80s, '90s to 2000s. I know this. I'm not
It is prize
delusional.
fighting.
Yeah, it is prize fighting, but you know, but look at the sheer magnitude of fights. Look at the sheer number of fights that have been historical just in the decade of the '70s. All right, those were wars that were happening on on that canvas. Those were battles that will never be forgotten, and fortunately for us, it's on tape, and you will be able to reference it forever. You know, um, I'm not saying there's not legacy fighters now. There are. You have those select few. You know, you have your Lomachenkos, you have your Triple Gs, you have your Canelos, you have these fighters, and yes, those are the top three fighters that I said. Because you will never hear me calling fucking Fury or Wilder a fucking legacy fighter. And you know what? I'm gonna throw Usyk in that level too. You know, I consider Usyk a legacy fighter as well. But you got these fighters. Those are legacy fighters. But you have, in my opinion, the majority are just looking for that paycheck. Because if you were a legacy fighter, you would constantly be busy. And I'm tired of hearing the excuse of the pandemic. If one or two fighters can do it, then they all can do it. They can all find fights. If you can't find a fight, or if your management team can't find a fight, change your management team. It's that simple. I'm not taking excuses.
What do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah,
What do you think about what Jed just
he's
said?
not wrong.
Do you agree with him?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I don't really have much thoughts. He said probably everything I would say, to be honest.
Or what if?
Yo, by the way,
Let me. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to, Jed, I don't have my glasses on, right? But I can see like my name in the chat. Somebody below Kodo said my name, just below Kodo's comment. Can you tell me what he's asking?
Hold on a second. Just below Kodo?
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't really see it.
because he said the last thing I seen him say was rip competitiveness, or let me go up higher.
No, it was Kodo's highlighted
Oh,
comment.
here we go. Mark, quick
Yeah, I can't
question.
really read it.
Besides Zab Judah, are there any other southpaws on Floyd's resume? Not trying to be funny, but I think Winky Wright would have gotten a UD on Floyd Mayweather.
Well, the notable one that would stand out instantly would be Manny Pacquiao, right?
Here you go.
Victor Ortiz was a southpaw. Sharma Mitchell. Sharma Mitchell's a southpaw. I'm pretty sure Victor is a southpaw, isn't he?
I don't know. I don't remember him being one, but I mean, I really don't remember, to be perfectly honest.
I'm pretty sure Victor's southpaw, no? I'm pretty sure. Like probably like I'm about 1,000,000% sure. Sharma Mitchell is a southpaw. Chop Chop Corley was a southpaw.
I do.
Yeah. So Chop Chop was Sharma Mitchell, Victor, Manny, Zab. I'm trying to remember now. Obviously, I think Floyd fought 7 southpaws total, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, Connor, which is a stupid one to bring up, but hey, it happened. So yeah,
right?
maybe and maybe he fought somebody else early in his career. But yeah, the main ones would be Sharmba, Victor, Manny, Zab. Who else did I say? I said somebody else.
You said Chop Chop.
Chop Chop Corley, yeah. So they'd be the main ones. They'd be the main
Oh,
southpaw before.
I almost forgot. And Joshua was right. I forgot to mention the name AJ on that list of people that are of this generation, this recent round of boxers. I have to add AJ on there as well. I don't know
I
how
agree.
come I didn't put that name up there, but AJ is a legacy fighter as well. I can't deny him. I'm going to give that man his props too. So, yeah.
Shit, out of all of
Joshua,
them, he's
thanks
the
for
one that
putting that
picked
name up there.
literally
'Cause I
everybody in the
totally forgot it.
division, so I could agree.
But yeah, man, I remember starting this stream off angry. And I'm no longer angry. I think I got
Hmm.
all that shit off my chest, and I was able to conversate with some people that can sit here and talk with me about things. Uh, Let me say what I had to say, and I don't mean that in a weird way. Even though this is my channel, um, the fact that I can have a conversation and talk about these things and have people either critique what I got to say, which I totally encourage, or agree with what I got to say. It's good to know I'm no longer angry. If you were here from the beginning, I was angry. I was legit angry. I was so tired of all this divisiveness. But when I get a chance to sit down and talk with fans
Mm-hmm.
about the game, it has a tendency to calm me down a lot.
Well, that's what we are at the end of the day, right, fellas? We're boxing fans, and all three of us will have different opinions. And isn't that the point of a barbershop, right?
Yeah,
This is
Yeah,
no,
just
for
a
sure,
really
for sure.
large barbershop. It's just a really large barbershop. We can all just sit down. You'll have one person who's screaming at the top of his voice, like Jet over here, like, nah, you fucking respect that motherfucker. You got Oscar sitting there, like, having a cigar in the corner, like, yeah, no, man, no, I agree, but I don't agree. What do you think, bro? And then it's like, someone come up to me. I'm the person who has like the monocle on, looking at the paper, trying to figure out how I'm going to lose my money this week. I mean, do you know what I mean? We all have there's different ones, there's different personalities, and that's kind of the beauty of discussion.
it is.
Yeah,
It is.
that's like
It's just.
exactly.
I've
Hold
been
on.
so frustrated. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Budo. I didn't know you were talking. I just talked right
No,
over
no,
you.
I was just no, no, no. I was just agreeing with Mark what he was saying. But I was gonna tell you that actually the reason I got on was I got when I started looking at YouTube because I was pissed off, and now I'm not pissed off anymore. So I just thought that was funny.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because I get mad at you guys. When I say you guys, I mean in general, that you guys got me into all this shit. But I appreciate it because it gives me something to do throughout my day because I'm very limited in what I can do. And this satisfies my need for information, and doing all this research and checking all these facts or contradictions. And when I get stumped, or I get feeling some sort of way, I have a tendency to bottle it up. And when I go into other channels and other panels, I feel like I cannot express myself, because if I do, I feel like I'll either be, ostracized, or I will be uh, in some way, shape, or form humiliated. I've never felt like that in your channel, Mark. Don't think that. And I've never felt like that in Kodo's in Boxing Jedi's channel or anything. But I have felt like that
You
in
know
other.
what? Whatever those panels are, this is the only thing you need to remember, man. You're talking to other people. You ain't talking to people who are wrong or right. You're just talking to other people. That's all it is. They may think they're right. They could be wrong. For example, I've talked to girls who were really hot and some girls who were bang average, right? Who do you think had the better pussy?
Look,
Depends on
if you turn them
depends
all
on the person.
upside down, the pussy's the same. That's all you got to remember, man.
There you go.
The ugliest chicks have been my best fucking lays in my life. You know, the hottest chicks have been kind of like dead fish.
All pussy
I
is
I
pink and
I can't
pretty.
I can't. Hey yo, that ain't true, bro. All pussy is the same. All attached to an irritable cunt. Yeast infection or none.
Right?
I didn't say that, baby. That was Mark that said that. Just saying, Anyway, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm very uncouth. I apologize.
Oh, that's what we like you, bro. Trust me, man. People think you're an asshole when you're fucking, as they say, you have no filter, but they respect you though.
But I do appreciate one thing, I have received a level of respect from even the channels that I'm afraid to actually say my honest opinion on things. I do get a level of respect, and it's because I hang out with a certain. How do I put this? I got to put this correctly. I don't want to make a mistake. I hang out in channels where they may be opinionated, and they might have an opinion that's slightly skewed, to say the least. But they aren't disrespectful to the point of belittlement, if you know what I mean. You understand what I'm saying? But I still feel uncomfortable, going. Put it this way, Mark. I've always been 100% honest in your streams, right? I'll give you I put my opinion out there, whether damn be told if I'm right or wrong. I'm gonna put it out there because I feel that comfortable. So as well as Jedi's and stuff like that. It's just those channels that I don't. I still like those channels because you can get up there and hang out and conversate with them. I just feel like maybe I just might keep quiet on this one. I did this today because I was fed up with being quiet on certain things because it was I found it disgusting, and the whole thing that made it the hair that broke the straw that broke the camel's back for me was the Teofimo senior shit. That was it. Because I had a list, and I went down the list today. But the Teofimo senior shit and saying my son did it first, that was the straw that broke the camel's back with me. And I was like, oh no, I gotta say something. And this is what ended up being. And I want to thank everyone that came up. I want to thank Mark. I want to thank Pudo, Oscar, everybody that came up, Red Glove Militant, all you guys. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to my rants and my raves and all that shit. It speaks a lot to me that I'm glad that people are willing to at least hear my opinion on things. It means a lot to me, but I'm also willing to hear other people's opinions. So I want to thank you guys for that. It's very comforting and it relaxed my soul because my soul was fucking stirred up.
No problem.
I want to thank you for letting me come on and talk with you, buddy. It's always a pleasure.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna close it out because I'm actually very calm. I'm gonna go help my wife unpack some more stuff because we are far from done in this house. Again, guys, thanks for hanging out. Mark, I will see you out there as usual. What's the next fight coming up? What's the next big fight coming up?
Munguia versus Rosado.
Yeah.
It depends on what you call a big fight, right? So this weekend, like Munguia versus Rosado and Kiko Martinez is fighting against Kit Galahad. They're the two main fights. And Benavidez fights this weekend as well against Kyron Davis. I believe. The following weekend is the next actual big fight, which is Porter versus Crawford.
I'm looking forward to that one.
That's next. Like, it just depends what you call big. Like, to me, bro, all you need to be like is, hey, yo, Mark, there's like an international title on in the middle of Ethiopia. I'm like, ooh, that's a big fight. It's true.
I am. Out of all the fights, I am the most interested in Crawford Porter. Do you? What's your view on that? Because I have Crawford. I have Crawford taking that, but I don't think that he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna pounce on Porter like I heard a lot of people say.
I'm excited. I'm picking Terence Crawford on points, but I think it'll be a very good fight. I think there'll be hazy and difficult moments in there for him, but I think he'll get through them. I think he'll hurt Porter twice in the fight, and Porter will survive and cling on.
What do you think, Puro?
I think Porter in 6.
Porter in 6? Really? Is it a stoppage or is it a knockout?
Stoppage.
Stoppage. Mm.
Porter in 6?
I'm just fucking around.
Oh, shit.
I pick Bud by late stoppage or point.
You know, when he said Porter boys in 6, I'm actually here and I'm staring up chicken on a pan right now. And I'm about to mix in some peppers. You'll probably hear this start to sizzle in a minute or two. But I was just like, nah, 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 nah. And then like after about 20 seconds, it just hit me what he said, and I'm like, wait, what? No, it's not. It's not out of badness either. What hit me was just like, that's a hot ass take, innit? Hot take.
Yeah,
Porto, you need to stick to that take. Just go around and tell everybody, like, and don't say a word. Just whenever people are bringing it up during the week, don't say, no, I'm really picking Crawford, yeah? Just when they're like, so who you got? Just be like, yeah, I got Porter in 6. And let them just, like, tell you all the reasons why you're wrong and just be like, yeah, man, yeah, I got Porter in 6. Just say
Oh
no,
my God.
and that's why I told you guys that. Just because we're about to end it. That's why I told you guys my real thought. But if we just started, I would have kept going with it.
Oh, that yeah. I'm looking forward to. I know where you're going next, so I'm going to be there. This ought to be interesting.
But I will say this, in boxing, the impossible sometimes happens. So
No, it does.
shit,
It does.
If
Yeah,
it
I
happens,
know.
shout out to Buster
you bring it
Douglas.
Yeah, boom, motherfucker.
yeah, you're right. There you go. If it happens, you remember Puro said that shit first.
Hey, Jed, I just want to tell you something. As much as you may hate hearing it or whatever, you need to remember it's one of the greatest moments in boxing history.
I know. It's just a moment that I hate so much. They needed a different referee. I'm just saying.
Don't hate, appreciate. Show some love. Buster,
All right,
if it couldn't have happened to a more deserving person at that time than Buster.
No, you're right, though.
That's true.
You
He
are
was
right.
going through some shit.
Rest in peace to his mom.
Hate's good, yeah. Rest in peace to his mom. But hate is good too, because I hated Oscar for forever, and I was young, to be honest, for being Chavez. I think a lot of Mexicans did, but it is what it is. I like him now.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna shut it down. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me, Mark and Puro. Thanks for staying so long on the stream. I appreciate that. I will
God bless
see
you.
you guys out there, man. God bless you guys.